The binary triplet configuration is a whole number code and visual construct. From this configuration, as it manifests in the 260-unit matrix of the sacred calendar, 1/8 of the Cybank warp, all other structures and process are derived. In this regard, the binary triplet configuration is the primary resonance structure common to all processes and systems. It is the visible form of the cosmic code. Its bilateral symmetry defines it as a binary or twofold. It will be noted that the symmetrical fold of the configuration is defined by the central or seventh of the 13 columns in the structure of the Tzolk'in. This central column is the quote-unquote mystical column, or the axis of eternal present. Its triplet aspect is defined by the 20 horizontal or latitudinal rows. The top and bottom 5 rows are perfectly symmetrical to each other. The more complex patterns distinguish the 10 central rows, again divided into 2 5-rowed parts, each perfectly symmetrical to each other. This is the critical third row of transformation. Due to the lateral symmetry of the central view, the entire figure can be viewed as a 4-part configuration of 5 rows each. Each side of the binary pattern consists of 26 units, for the total of 52. Adding the numbers in sets of 4, beginning with the corners and working inward, we find that the sums are always 28. This figure times 13, the number 52 divided by 4, gives us a total of 364, a lunar year. This is a numerical key to the basic calendrical nature of the structure. If the left side of the configuration represents a negative flow of energy and the right a positive, then we have a basic image of a polar electrical charge and flow. Further, if the left side flows downward and the right flow upward, then we see the central zone of transformation represents an area of crossover polarity. The mechanism of crossover polarity is a fundamental dynamic without which there would be no energy and life. In the center of the mystic column, which represents the space that makes possible the transformative dynamic of the crossover polarity, we see the numbers 13 and 1, the omega and the alpha, the end joined to the beginning. While we speak of this configuration in the terms of negative, positive electrical charge, it also represents the basic dynamic or mechanism of the double helix, the genetic code, i.e., 2 strands of DNA crossing and winding around each other, as the basic code of life containing the information governing both the replication and auto-regulation of all living organisms. All DNA is based on the binary triplet configuration. The basic structure of DNA is as follows. Of the 2 strands, one contains the template of the other. In the case of the binary triplet configuration, assume that this is the left-hand strand. Further, Each strand possesses information in a direction opposite of each other. Translating this process into terms of the biopsychic situation of human life and consciousness, one information flow moves from the future to the present, the other from the past to the future. The former is the flow or current of the vision, intuition, and dream. The other represents information as it is manifest and coded or codified into symbols, written forms, material structures, books, libraries, and so forth. The current of the moving from future to present is the AC, or Aboriginal Continuity Current. The latter, the CA, Civilizational Advance. The former moves from the synthesized future to the particularized present. The latter represents the analytical methods articulating special action modes built upon models of the past behavior and knowledge. Primary matrix, 1/8 of longitudinal Seibank warp. Tzolk'in. The primary matrix containing and defined by the binary triplet configuration as a whole number model consisted of the numbers 1 through 13 repeated on a lattice of 20, for a total of 260 permutations, or 13 times 20. Among the Maya and the Nua of ancient Mesoamerica, the 20 lattice rows were represented by 20 symbols suggested the most primary aspects of life-death process. See both maps 9 and 30. As already noted, the 7th, or middle of the 13 longitudinal columns, represents the quote-unquote mystic column, with the omega and alpha numerals 13 and 1, joined at the very center of the entire Tzolk'in. Among the Nuha and the Maya, the 260-unit permutation device was translated into the so-called sacred calendar of 260 days, which coincided every 52 years with the solar calendar, and every 104 years with the solar and Venus calendars. Subtracting the numbers of the units represented by the mystic column leaves 240 units. A figure divisible by 16, 12, and 8, the other key calendrical and geotransformative numbers. "16 of the 260-day cycle add up to 11.3 solar years. The average time for a binary sunspot cycle to attain a crossover polarity. Since the primary matrix represents the 1/8 longitudinal warp, or electromagnetic matrix of the Seibank, we may relate its derivation to the electromagnetic pulsation of the sunspot in their binary movements. See map 4, 10, 29, and 30. While the numbers 1 through 13 have varying and multiple cylindrical and cyclical associations, the number 20, inclusive of the numbers 1 through 20, can be genetically associated with the 20 amino acids constructed from the 64 DNA codons. See map 7 and 32.